All right, well, if I were to have one key takeaway from Module 6, it's that a deal is very complicated. Is that a good thing?
Well, whether it's good or bad, it's a true thing. So, one of the things when we set out to design this course is that we aren't going to minimize the complexity of getting your biggest payday done. That notwithstanding, the way to think about a deal is to have all of the complexity that you need in order to maximize the value and the number of terms that you have, but not to add any more complexity than you need to, because at the end of the day, it's about getting the best deal for your business.
All right, well, my expert analysis key takeaway was that it was complicated. Let's go a little bit more into depth. I think you might have some better takeaways from Module 6.
Sure, no problem at all. The key takeaway for you as a seller is that maybe for most of you, the first time you are now armed with the knowledge and the tools to build out a complete valuation of your business, what you're worth, and how you should expect to get paid. That's invaluable knowledge going forward. The second key takeaway is that you have now the leverage when you have multiple buyers at the table. As my mentor used to say, if you have one buyer at the table, you actually have 0 buyers because one of you is probably going to back out. Either they're going to sense that they're the only buyer and offer you too little for your business, or you're going to feel like you only have one buyer and because you have nothing to compare it to, you don't think it's the right transaction. The important point is to realize that you keep negotiating on your side and you keep all of that leverage all the way through the letter of intent process. But once you've signed your LOI, you're going to be what's called exclusive with just one buyer. And obviously then the negotiating leverage changes. So it's critical to really digest this module and get as much of your deal spelled out in the LOI as possible.
All right, so now we've got a signed letter of intent in place. Where are we now going in the last module, Module 7?
Simply put, the big payday. Module 7 is going to walk through in depth from the time your LOI is signed all the way through what's called the due diligence period, all the way through the disclosure schedules, and through the closing of the transaction. You'll now have your buyer identified. You'll have agreed to the basic terms. It's time in Module 7 to push through and get your deal inked.
All right, we'll see you all in Module 7.